Welcome, everybody. Here we go. It's that time again. Matt Connarton Unleashed. And we are live from the studios of WMNH 95.3 FM in glorious downtown Manchester, New Hampshire. Also on Comcast 90. Almost did it. Also on Comcast Channel 6 if you're in Manchester. Old habits die hard. I started to do it. I've been good all week. Channel 6 in Manchester. And, of course, hello to all of our online listeners across the nation and around the globe. You can go to my website, mattconnerton.com, for all your live streaming options, social media links, contact info, show archives, etc., etc. Today is Thursday, August 31, 2023. So nice to have you all with me. By the way, that track we just heard, that is the band EverFelt. That's called Gave It Away. We opened the show with something from Noraset, who joined me from the UK earlier in the week, Skyping in. But also wanted to play a track from EverFelt. We were supposed to have them on recently. They had to reschedule, but they're going to be joining us today. They're going to be Skyping in, so really looking forward to speaking with them. And I really love their sound. They've got a big rock sound that I think is really cool. So we'll play another song of theirs as we get close to the top of the hour, and then they'll be joining us via Skype at the top of the hour. So looking forward to that quite a bit. So the band is EverFelt, and they are our musical guest today. In the meantime, the studio line is open for you, 603-250-6007, 603-250-6007. You can also text me at 617-917-4476. I'm on social media at Matt Connarton. You can email me, matt@mattconnerton.com. And, of course, you can interact and opine in the Facebook live chat. But the best thing to do so that we can hear and enjoy your dulcet tones is to give us a call at 603-250-6007. Also, I want to mention, of course, our amazing sponsor, the Hop Knot. Tonight is trivia night. This is what they posted on social media today. Tonight, trivia at the Hop Knot, Manchester, New Hampshire, is on per usual. Some of this week's categories include back to school, fictional brands, Jamaica, lakes, sex and science fiction, Wisconsin, double trouble, tomato season, and more. The game will start at 7 p.m. sharp, hosted, of course, by the great Broderick Lang. One thing, though, they do recommend, and I do recommend, we recommend, if you are going to participate, that you call ahead because those spots do fill up quickly. Trivia is a very popular feature at the Hop Knot. And if you'd like to reserve a spot, 603-232-3731, 603-232-3731. Now, of course, you don't have to participate in the trivia. You could just go there to enjoy some delicious gourmet pretzels or the ever-burgeoning assortment of craft beer. But if you do want to be a part of the trivia, you should call ahead. So there you go, the Hop Knot, right in the Brady Sullivan at 1000 Elm Street, right across the street. An amazing place. Let's see. We'll say hello to everybody in the Facebook live chat before we get into some stuff. Isaac Banks joins us. I believe, if I remember correctly, Isaac is from Greensboro, North Carolina. Isaac Banks says, hello, hashtag Matt. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, hashtag Jen Coffee. Jay Fed, of course, from the great state of Vermont joins us and says, good afternoon, everyone. Let's see. Isaac Banks says, good afternoon, hashtag Lucera Huntley. How are you doing? I am watching live Facebook of Matt Connarton Unleashed show on 95.5 WMHN. No. Isaac, please. It's not 95.5 WMHN. That is incorrect, sir. It is 95.3 WMNH. But you're close. You are close. I give you, you get an A for effort. Isaac Banks also says, hashtag Lucera Huntley, his show of Matt Connarton Unleashed show is awesome. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Jenny, of course, is in the chat room and says, shalom, peeps. Also, Mike from Queen City Cabinetry joins us. Queen City Cabinetry, of course, one of our great sponsors here at WMNH 95.3. And I get to hang out with Mike every Friday night. Oh, tomorrow's Friday, my favorite day of the week here at WMNH for Retro Spectrum Radio with Paulie C, as Mike is one of our co-hosts on that show. Melanie La Liberty is in the Facebook live chat and says, hey, guys. Rhonda Favero from the great state of California says, Cali in the house. Carol Zawarowitz joins us in the chat. Hello, Carol. EZG Eric Gagnon says, hi, big fan. Isaac Banks says, EverFelt is playing? Awesome. Hashtag Matt Connarton. Also, a pop singing group of a man band quartet is Eon Venom 4. They will be watching you now. Ooh, that's wonderful. I've always hoped that Eon Venom 4 would be enjoying my program. They're pretty famous. Isaac Banks says, yes, you got it. Hashtag Matt Connarton. I'm from Greensboro, North Carolina. How did I know? Isaac Banks says, as Potsy, from Happy Days, hashtag Mike Pelopita, thanks for the emoji thumbs up. Yes, as Potsy, he said that, Mike, not as the Fonz. Sometimes Isaac Banks or some others associated with him in the chat room, it'll say in parentheses, as the Fonz. Whoa. But no, he went for the Potsy Weber from Happy Days. Eric Street joins us in the Facebook live chat and says, who thinks of today as the last day of summer, last day of August? Yeah, I do. I hate this day. Actually, to be honest with you, the last day of August, because yes, I do think of it as the last day of summer. Summer is my favorite time of year. I love summer, and I always hate to see it go away. But yes, and while on the calendar, the last day of summer isn't until, what is it, September 20th, 21st, around there. It is meteorological summer is, they do it. I learned this from Al Caprillion, actually, the great weatherman from New Hampshire. If you're not from New Hampshire, if you're listening online from somewhere else, you won't know the reference. Probably you won't. But Al Caprillion, a very famous weatherman from New Hampshire, high pressure. I can't do an impression of him. That's the best I can do. But if you're having trouble quite placing where you know the name from, he's the high pressure guy. But I heard him explain once that meteorological summer is June, July, August. And meteorological fall, of course, is September, October, November. And so you get the idea. But it's simpler that way. But it does make me sad. I always hate to see summer go away. Funny how the night moves. Autumn closing in. Melanie says, yes, it's the last day of the summer season. Oh, Isaac Banks says, I do impressions of Potsy and Fonz. Oh, let's see your Fonz impression. That would be amazing. JFed says, oh my goodness, I don't think this is the real Isaac Banks. He was hacked. Oh no, is that true? And EZG says, celebration. Why are you celebrating? Isaac Banks says, Jason Fedderson, it is me, Isaac Banks. I did not get hacked. Well, that's a relief. 603-250-6007. The studio line is open, 603-250-6007. And if you're just joining us, of course, we do have EverFelt coming up at the top of the hour. Very cool band I'm looking forward to speaking with. A couple of housekeeping things, and by that, I just mean things that we discussed earlier in the week that I want to go back to briefly, just kind of revisit. Actually, a few things. One of them is I did share out yesterday on social media the episode of the Michael Smerconish radio show where Mark Halperin was talking about sources that he had that are telling him that Biden is reconsidering running for a second term. And so we discussed that quite a bit. Was it yesterday or the day before? I lose track. It's all a blur. There's so much. There's always so much in the news. But so we talked about that at length. And oh, yeah, it must have been yesterday because I shared out the link to the show yesterday and John Hopwood called in about it. And my dad texted me and he said, don't trust Mark Halperin. But I realized, so I shared it out and it's at the 12-minute mark in the show on that day's show, yesterday's show of Michael Smerconish, where Mark Halperin begins talking about how he has sources who say that Biden is considering not running. I went back and as I was finding where it was in the show, I re-listened to it. When I initially heard Halperin talking about this on Smerconish's show, I was in the car. So it's not like when I was describing what I heard on the radio and how I thought it was pretty significant, I was doing that all from memory. But in actually going back and listening to it yesterday after the show, as I was sharing it out, I realized that I undersold it because Halperin doesn't just say that sources are telling him, high-level sources close to Biden are telling him that Biden is reconsidering and may not run after all. Halperin, what he actually said was the decision has already been made. He told Michael Smerconish that actually Biden had decided that he's definitely not running and now is trying to figure out what's the best way to proceed in terms of making an announcement and when to do it. And on the one hand, he doesn't want it to be sort of a coronation as of Kamala Harris. She'll be the nominee now. Don't want that because you have to have a process where people vote. You have to have primaries in theory. But he also doesn't want done to her what was done to him because he actually had some resentment toward Obama for telling him, Joe, for 2016, don't run. It's Hillary's turn, even though you're the sitting vice president. There was a lot to it. I don't want to rehash the whole thing, but I did undersell it. And I realized that afterward, that when I went back and listened, Halperin didn't say Biden was considering not running. Halperin actually said that sources are telling him Biden is not running and that now it's a matter of figuring out next steps and how to present it and how to manage this process. Because if that is true, if what Halperin is saying is true, it's going to be fascinating to see how this plays out now. It's going to be very, very interesting. So I wanted to mention that. Another thing we discussed at the beginning of the week that I wanted to go back to, and we actually did 2 segments on this, both Monday and Tuesday, because we talked about it on Monday, and then I had some additional thoughts upon reflecting on it on Tuesday. But Jenny and I had a conversation on Monday's show, and I put the clip up on YouTube of that specific segment. We were discussing the song and the backlash and all the controversy around Oliver Anthony and his song Rich Men North of Richmond. And I did post the link up on YouTube. It's got over 600 views. People are really interested in what we had to say about it. Oh, and even more comments than the last I looked. Let me refresh this. But I wanted to look at some of the comments because, we'll usually get some comments, but people really had a lot to say about our conversation on the show on Monday. We talked about the song itself. We played the song and kind of analyzed some of the lyrics and gave our thoughts on it, and also talked about some of the backlash now that Oliver Anthony is receiving from some conservatives because they thought he was one of them, and now they're mad, and it's a whole to-do. Let's see. I want to make sure I can see all of these, but I just thought it would be interesting to just kind of go over some of these comments. Wait, is that everything? It says 8 comments. Oh, it's weird. It's like it's hiding something from me. So we'll just look at these quickly. Metalhead2320 said, "Y'all don't get it. It's not shaming fat people or people on welfare. It's shaming people using welfare funds for non-essentials. I work at a filling station, and you wouldn't believe how many people come in trying to buy snacks, energy drinks, and overall junk food with funds meant for life-sustaining necessities. They're taking our tax money, ours. We work ourselves to death to earn it, and they give it to people who don't need it, while there are thousands of people who really need it and will never see a dime of it. We're fed up with it." Part of why I want to go through these is the comments reflect how, like I was saying on Tuesday, how, the song is art, and you can take these lyrics and interpret them however you want to, because that's how art works. There is no right or wrong answer necessarily. You can go to the source and ask Oliver Anthony what he meant, and he's kind of explained it. But again, ultimately, it's up to you as the listener. Okay, the next comment, Doug Anderson 8219 said, "Feminist, did you hear the part putting men 6 feet under, paying for the 5'3" glutton? You two live in an ivory tower." So apparently this person is very upset with us. Jenny and I feels we live in an ivory tower. I wouldn't want to live in an ivory tower. Unless it had I just imagine a lot of stairs. Maybe if it had an elevator, but would the elevator itself also be ivory, or is it, I don't know. I've never been to an ivory tower. How does that work exactly? Is it just the exterior that's ivory? Is it ivory that's been hollowed out? I hope it's not made from elephant tusks. That would be horrifying. Poor elephants. I shan't live in an ivory tower unless it's rent controlled, maybe. Let's see. Marcy Prewitt 1836 says he is not welfare shaming. Karma 2.034 says the truth is uncomfortable. Deal with it. Guess because we call out many of the weak whom are lazy, we're bad. It's not fat shaming. Get over your feelings dealing with it. That's what's wrong with our country. Waste of time here. In no way was this racial. Host like y'all are racist. I understood most of that. By the way, waste is spelled here W-A-I-S-T. I didn't realize that there was anything in our commentary and our analysis of the song that might cause someone to think that we're racist. I don't quite understand that. Let's see. John Galt 6533 says, fat shaming? Listen again. He's saying that welfare is paying to kill people and they don't care. You are looking at it the wrong way. You must live in a poor area. Oh, I'm sorry. You must not live in a poor area. Well, no, of course. We've established we live in an ivory tower. You must not live in a poor area and watch someone buy a pile of junk food with benefit cards. He's not fat shaming. He cares about the people who are obese and unhealthy. It's about helping people and not slowly killing them. Listen to it again. Stop trying to make it political. And Josh Wagner, 7243, replied to that comment with amen. And Joshua Ledford, MX7PC, also replied to that comment and said, oh yeah, brother, call it, with 7 exclamation points. So there you go. There you go. But we were just trying to have an open dialogue, an open and free dialogue about it. That's what we do on the show. But it's interesting how passionately people respond and react to that. So there you go. But it's up on YouTube. If you just do a search, just type in Matt Connarton Unleashed, Oliver Anthony, it'll come right up. I hope that you give it a listen. I haven't posted yet the follow-up thoughts that I had on Tuesday. I haven't posted that clip yet on the YouTube, but I suppose I will, because it seems to be a subject that people are very interested in. And yes, I have been learning about how the YouTube algorithm works and how to use it to my benefit. Easy G in the chat room says summer is over when Peter White's birthday on September 18, LOL. And sure enough, Peter White is in the Facebook live chat, and Peter White says, shalom, peeps. Peter White, of course, host of The Morning Show with Peter White here at WMNH, which you can hear weekdays from 7 to 9 a.m. with a replay from 2 to 4 p.m. right before this program. Let's see. So I wanted to mention that, the Oliver Anthony thing. And one other thing that I wanted to kind of put a bow on that we talked about very briefly this week, that and then we'll get into something new, but we only mentioned it briefly, and I kind of feel like we gave it short shrift, or I gave it short shrift, because we just didn't have a lot of time that day. I don't even remember what day it was, but Joe the plumber died. You younger folks might not remember Joe the plumber, but he's the gentleman who approached Barack Obama during the 2008 campaign and had a question for him regarding his taxes and so forth. And Joe the plumber became this icon. The McCain-Palin campaign really kind of used him as he sort of became an avatar before that term was really used for this particular purpose, for their campaign in many ways. And there was a lot of talk of Joe the plumber even during the debates, during one of the debates with McCain and versus Obama. They both took points in the debate saying, I'm talking directly to you, Joe Plumber, when I say this. And of course, Sarah Palin was all about Joe the plumber, which must have been, during her debate with Biden, which must have been a little confusing for her at times, mentioning Joe the plumber, because, she's talking about Joe the plumber and there's Joe Biden standing with her on stage there. So there's two Joes. That must have been confusing for her, but she got through it. Anyway, Oh, Sarah Palin, my God. She was a candidate for vice president, if y'all forgot. Oh, yeah, Sarah Palin. She was a heartbeat away. Could have been a heartbeat away had McCain been elected from the presidency. Sarah Palin. Anyway, the thing about Joe the Plumber, and this is what I just wanted to mention, is, and it's not an original thought. I heard somebody else point this out, so I'm kind of regurgitating what I heard someone else say. But it was just such an interesting observation to me, is that someone, and I wish I knew the name of the journalist. It was someone being interviewed on another show, so I don't even know who it was I was hearing. I was listening to a political talk show in the car, and I heard, I want to say his name is Joe DeBonis, but and kind of a funny name. There's definitely a joke in there, but it would get me fired, so we won't go there. But he said, the observation that he made was that Joe the Plumber, becoming the avatar that he did at the time, really marked a turning point in our politics in America, because that was the beginning of sort of people recording moments on their phones and then putting them online somewhere, and then things going viral of that nature, because we hadn't really seen that before that. Because that was a totally spontaneous thing. Joe the Plumber, and forgive me, I forget his actual given name, but he was known colloquially as Joe the Plumber. Him walking over to Barack Obama at this campaign event, and the question had something to do with, I'm about to be purchasing a business, and your tax plan is going to tax me X amount of money, and I don't think it's fair, and this and that. And initiating that conversation with Barack Obama, that was completely unplanned. This wasn't some sort of stage-managed thing. It wasn't anything that the campaign had planned, that the McCain campaign had planned, you know, oh, we're going to send this everyman over to talk to Obama and sort of, no, I don't want to say confront, because it wasn't confrontational. He just walked over and politely asked him a question, and they started a conversation. But it was completely spontaneous. And Joe the Plumber, he just, I think the story goes, he was, he hadn't even planned on going to the event, and he wasn't an Obama supporter, but it was near where he happened to live, and he's out front playing with his kids or something. And he decided to walk over and ask the question, and somebody caught it on their phone and recorded it and uploaded it somewhere. And next thing you know, it's sort of going viral. Before that was even a term. I don't know if we even used that term then, saying something went viral. This was, 2008. So, hard to believe in some ways, but yeah, 2008. But, the observation that this journalist made was that moment was a turning point, because we hadn't seen anything like that up to then. Social media was still relatively new. I mean, MySpace had been around for a while at that point, but in terms of social media being used to record a political moment and then upload it, and then having people sharing it to the extent that it winds up being reported on and featured in mainstream media and winds up on cable news, sort of jumping almost like a virus from social media to cable news to mainstream news. That was really the first example of something like that happening in politics. And, I mean, don't get me wrong. Before that, obviously, there were instances where someone's caught on camera saying something or doing something, and then it winds up on the news, and it might not necessarily be something flattering. But this was the beginning of, somebody sees something happening, they pull out their phone, they record it, they upload it to social media, and next thing you know, everyone's seeing it, and it becomes a viral thing. Looks like Isaac Banks is still fighting with Jason Federson in the chat room. Isaac says, no, #Jason, I'm innocent. I am on this Facebook now for me. Rockinberries65 at yahoo.com on Facebook of this one for now. Rockinberries65 at yahoo.com. That's is that your email address, Isaac Banks, or is this a ruse to fool us? Peter White says in the chat room, can't wait for tomorrow. I love Fridays. I love Fridays too. Fridays are my favorite day of the week here at WMNH. Why do you love Fridays, Peter? I love Fridays because it's my long day here at the station. I do this show, and then I'm also here for Retro Spectrum Radio with Paulie C, so it's a lot of fun. Oh, I know why Peter loves Fridays, because it's love advice on the morning show. And that is a fun segment. I'm particularly taken with when Matty Juno, the way he reads the questions. It's just funny. There's something about it that's just funny. Although I have to admit, though, occasionally there's been a few questions that I hear during the love advice section where I kind of find myself blushing a little bit. I'm like, oh, that's a very personal problem this particular individual is having, and then I think, ooh, I hope I remembered to hide my mask my email address when I sent this in. I'm kidding about that part, of course. Isaac Banks says, yes, this is my Facebook email of rockinberries65@yahoo.com. Well, feel free to send Isaac Banks an email if you'd like to at rockinberries65@yahoo.com. And Isaac is now telling Melanie La Liberty, I did not get hacked. All right. Well, very good. Very good. I do want to, hello to Chris Rose from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, who has joined us in the Facebook live chat. If you would like to give us a call, the studio line is open, 603-250-6007, 603-250-6007. And of course, if you're just joining us, we do have a great band coming up at the top of the hour. EverFelt is going to be Skyping in. Very, very cool band. Something that I wanted to get to this week, and we haven't gotten to it yet, but we will do this right now. And this is something that I also heard, by the way, being discussed on Michael Smerconish's show. People are going to start thinking I'm working for Smerconish. I keep mentioning his show, but this I actually knew about before I heard this talked about on his show. But this is from Mediaite. Oh, Isaac Banks says, EverFelt rocks. Yes, this is from Mediaite. Cable news shows and networks ranked for bias and accuracy. And I did hear Smerconish talking about this. There's this whole, you know what? Actually, I don't think I shared this out yet. After the show, or at some point during the show, if I can, I'll share this out so everybody can see it. But this media company actually, they don't rank opinion-based shows, obviously, but they rank the cable news networks and individual hosts and so forth, and ranked for bias and accuracy. So bias, that one's obvious. Accuracy, they rank for, are they reporting the facts, or are they giving you spin, or leaving details out, et cetera. So I thought this was pretty interesting. So we'll look at this. And this went up a few days ago, but like I said, we're just getting to it now. But it is something that we talk about a lot on the show. So it says here, questions related to bias, objectivity, and accuracy in news hang over every media outlet, journalist, and news consumer. While nothing new to the news industry, understanding which news sources are reliable and in which direction they lean has become an increasingly daunting task, given the mass proliferation of new outlets and the rise of infotainment. Furthermore, in a time of bad actors, misinformation, and a political class blurring the lines between statesmen and media figures, members of Congress hosting cable news shows, for example, the question of who to trust has never been more important than for the health of our democracy. A Colorado startup called Ad Fontes, or Fontes, meaning to the sources in Latin. Oh, if it's in Latin, so that would mean if it was more than one Fontes, it would be Fontai. I apologize. That was a horrendous joke. I feel guilty and ashamed that I went for it. It says here, which recently raised $4.2 million in a first round of financing, believes it can help answer the question with its media bias chart, which released a major data update earlier in the month. Now, by the way, obviously, this is radio. I cannot show you the chart, but you can peruse the chart online, of course. But we'll go over some of the conclusions in this article. The chart rates publications on two separate criteria, reliability and bias. On one axis, reliability is charted from 0 to 64, with anything over 40 coming in as very reliable. So it's better to be higher. It's not like golf where you want to have a low score. You want to have a high score. Publications that land somewhere between 40 and 30 are still quite reliable, but include much more analysis or opinion. Anything below 24 is characterized as selective or incomplete story, unfair persuasion, and propaganda. The other axis plots how far away from zero publications veer, with zero being purely balanced coverage and negative 42 being most extreme left and 42, positive 42, being most extreme right. Okay, so let's get into the important part here. When looking at the top 5 cable news networks, Fox News, MSNBC, CNN, Newsmax, and News Nation, CNN and News Nation lead the pack in reliability with a 39.3 and 39.2 rating, respectively. Now, that's interesting. I don't know much about News Nation. I've seen a little bit of it. We don't have cable in our household. Jenny and I, we cut the cord a long time ago. We don't have actual cable. But I've seen some News Nation online, and I know that's where Chris Cuomo does his show now. And who else has a show now on News Nation? Is that where Dan Abrams does his show? I mean, he has a show on satellite radio, but I think he's also on News Nation, isn't he? I think. Anyway, so I've seen a little bit of News Nation, but News Nation is relatively new. I mean, I think it's just within the last couple of years that went on the air. So many of you listening probably have never even heard of News Nation. But according to this, it ties basically with CNN in terms of reliability. MSNBC comes in third with a 3.15 reliability rating, while Fox has a 26 rating, and Newsmax is in propaganda territory with an 18.7 rating. That doesn't surprise me. In terms of bias, now that was reliability. Again, remember, we have reliability and bias. Reliability is what they report factual. Bias being, is it tilted left or right in terms of spin and so forth. Okay, so in terms of bias, News Nation lands in the middle with a 2, skewing it ever so slightly right. Okay, that actually doesn't surprise me. Isaac Banks says, Matt Connarton, I will call in your show. Oh, my. Well, you're welcome to 603-250-6007. So News Nation comes in at a 2, so just ever so slightly right. CNN is next with a negative 10, putting it in the skews left territory. That doesn't surprise me. While MSNBC has strong left rating of negative 16.8. That doesn't surprise me at all. And Fox News charts at strong right with a 17.83, while Newsmax is in hyper-partisan right territory with a 21.33. None of that surprises me. And I've always said, very often when I talk about cable news and I'm talking about left and right, I'll often give the examples of, you've got MSNBC on the left, you've got Fox on the right. So none of that surprises me. It says here, notably, Fox News and MSNBC have a wide range of reliability on the chart, while CNN's programming remains between the 35 to 45 area. So in terms of reliability, I guess, in terms of accuracy, reporting facts, both Fox News and MSNBC do very well. So that's interesting. Ad Fontes founder Vanessa Otero explained her methodology in a recent op-ed, writing, quote, all our articles and episodes have been rated by, okay, I don't want to get into that. That's going to take us too far into the weeds. We don't need to know the process. You can look at the article on your own if you want to know the process, but I don't want to run out of time on this. Okay, so next thing, cable news shows. So now we're talking about individual shows on these cable news networks. It says here, looking at different hours of cable news television shows, the disparities within cable news networks when it comes to reliability. The morning shows, for example, chart as more reliable than the networks as a whole, while prime time comes in as less so. Fox and Friends chart at 30.7 for reliability, higher than Fox's overall 26. That surprises me a little bit. Oh, but this part does not. Fox and Friends rates in hyper-partisan right territory for bias, however, with a 21, further right than the network overall. Okay, that part does not surprise me. MSNBC's Morning Joe is the most reliable of the top three cable news morning news programs with a rating of 37.8. CNN This Morning is close behind with a 36.8 reliability rating. Both land in strong left territory in terms of bias. All right, so now we go to prime time. At 9 p.m., Fox's Hannity scored a reliability rating of only 19.8, putting it in propaganda territory. Rachel Maddow, who only hosts on Mondays, scored a reliability rating of 36.7, while Alex Wagner, who hosts the rest of the week, charted a 31.25. Maddow landed as more partisan than Wagner with a negative 17.7 and negative. Wait. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Yeah, Maddow had a negative 17.7 and Wagner a negative 15.75. Hannity was further from the center with a 24.6 rating. CNN's 9 p.m. programming, which only recently got a permanent host, and Caitlin Collins was not charted. I guess it's because it's too new. Oh, Paulie C just joined us in the Facebook live chat and says, hello, big fan. Paulie C, of course, host of Retro Spectrum Radio with Paulie C, Friday nights here on WMNH. It says here at 5 p.m., Cable News' top-rated show, The Five, charted at a 25.24 for reliability and a strong right 18 score for bias. So strong right. Again, that doesn't surprise me. If you've never seen The Five, it's 4 conservatives and 1 liberal. So it's, you know, of course it tilts strong right. MSNBC's show Deadline White House was more skewed with a negative 19, but more reliable at 33.3. CNN's The Lead with Jake Tapper was the hour's most reliable show with a 36.9 rating and charted at negative 15.2 for bias. Overall, of the top 3 cable news networks, Brett Baer's special report landed as, this surprises me actually, landed as the most reliable program with a 44.33 and charted as skews right with a 9. CBS Evening News with Nora O'Donnell, NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt, and ABC World News Tonight with David Muir all rated just above Baer in that order as the most reliable news broadcasts in the U.S. And that doesn't surprise me that the network news shows, the nightly network news shows, are going to be less biased than something on cable news. CNN's The Situation Room with Wolf Blitzer wasn't far behind Baer with a reliable rating of 42.04 and a negative 11.6 skews left bias. Anderson Cooper landed with a 38.10 reliability rating and negative 13 for bias. Maddow was MSNBC's most reliable show, while Chris Hayes All In scored a propaganda level of 21.7. Joy Reid fared a bit better with 23.7 reliability. Reid charted a negative 20.7 for bias, while Hayes was at negative 18.4. Chris Cuomo, the former CNN host who now helms the 8 p.m. hour of News Nation, landed at negative 5.39 for bias with a 30.88 reliability rating. Mediaite founder and News Nation's not okay. I was right. Dan Abrams is at News Nation now. Dan Abrams lands smack dab in the middle on bias, achieving a 0.25 with a 35.89 reliability number. That doesn't surprise me. Dan Abrams, I think, is very balanced. And politically, I think he might be a left-leaning centrist, but I don't think I would not describe him as either liberal or conservative, certainly. In this entire article, he's probably, well, let's just say I'm not surprised that out of everyone in this article, he seems to be the most reliable and the least biased. And then we're almost to the end of this. Fox's Jesse Waters Primetime, which I guess ostensibly is the replacement for Tucker Carlson, right? Charted at a low, a low 16.91 for reliability, below even Newsmax's Greg Kelly, who scored a 19.7. Laura Ingraham charted a 25.71 for reliability, but was more rightward than Waters, scoring a 25.7 to his 23.3 for bias. So there you go. So basically everyone, the conclusion that I would come to with this is, I mean, it's all fairly predictable, but I would say the only one, the only one on this entire list who I'd actually trust not to be biased in some way would be Dan Abrams. And that's pretty much it. So there you go. But I will share out the entire article for you if you want to look at that. If you want to see the actual chart. Oh, and by the way, I went to that website, the Adfontis website, and it's interactive. You can put in a specific name and look up their statistics if you want to do that. That's an option for you. We've got a little bit of time left. If you want to get in with a quick call, we do have a guest coming up at the top of the hour, and in a couple of minutes, we're going to play one of their songs. The band is EverFelt. They're our musical guest today, but the studio line is open, 603-250-6007, 603-250-6007. Speaking of, we did mention Fox News. Here is an example of perhaps some balance. America, the Gerontocracy. Fox News hosts tackle both McConnell's health and Joe Biden's decline. This is a big topic right now, of course, because, well, so circulating word coming out of Mark Halperin on Michael Smerconish's show that Joe Biden is not running for re-election after all. And then Mitch McConnell had another incident of freezing up, which he's only 1 year older than Biden. And I finally heard somebody else say it today, by the way. Somebody on CNN said it. I didn't catch who it was talking. But I've been saying, look, all it's going to take for Joe Biden to lose this election to have just one incident like Mitch McConnell has had, and it's over. But let's see what's in this clip here. We've got audio of this. This is what they were talking about on Fox's show, Outnumbered, where they were discussing both McConnell and Biden and what they call the gerontocracy of the U.S. government, where we have, and again, I do so hate to be ageist, but you know, we've been talking about Biden and McConnell. We've been talking about yesterday when Mike Doyle called, we were talking about Dianne Feinstein. You know, we've talked in the past about Nancy Pelosi. You know, we have these very old people. And by the way, I've often complained about whenever there's a hearing in Congress on technology and you have these people, you know, I've always said, I don't particularly want 90-year-old Chuck Grassley of Iowa to be voting on things that that involve modern technology that we all depend on and use. Although Chuck Grassley is that guy, apparently he runs, he jogs every day, and he still seems pretty sharp mentally. So he might be an exception. He's 90 years old, but he doesn't quite seem it. But let's I'm curious to hear what they were saying on Outnumbered here. I'm going to play the clip.
The questions are about all senior elected officials. And it's not just age, right? The whole point is the fitness, the competency. These are real questions because the American people have seen real problems stemming out of this octo and whatever the word is for 90-year-old and up.
Nonagenarians.
Thank you so much for those elected officials.
Got another word for you. Gerontocracy.
Oh, yes. That's a good one.
America, the gerontocracy, governed by the elderly and the addled. Karine Jean-Pierre was worse with Jake Tapper when she said, when we travel abroad, it's hard for us to keep up with this president. So you know, that should tell you about the level of her dishonesty when she's behind that podium every single day. And she also said, watch him, she giggled. Well, we do watch him, and it's not about his age, Biden's. It's not about that number. It's about his faculties, his cognition, and the quite obvious decline and deterioration. Because every American can watch him, every American who's ever taken care of an elderly relative or parent who was addled and in decline. Regardless of what you want to call it, I've taken care of relatives who had dementia and Alzheimer's disease. And you can see that this man at 86, at the end of his second term, would not be a self-caring adult.
Now, there's more to the clip. We probably won't have time for the whole thing. I agree with most of what she said. Now, I think it's a little strong at the end when she says by the end of his second term, he would not be a self-caring adult. I don't know that. But I do know, like I've been saying, 70% of Democrats say they don't want him to run for a second term. And I think I saw a poll that said 77%, I think it was in the high 70s, 77% of Americans feel that Biden is too old. But she is right what she said about, again, I thought it was a little strong at the end, and I wouldn't presume that, because look, there are, in some ways, Biden does seem, I mean, he's certainly not overweight, and he does, apparently he likes to, he does exercise, he works out, he rides a bike, he's physically active. And there is that mind-body connection. The better you take care of yourself physically, the better off you're going to be as you age mentally. That's just, I mean, I think that's pretty well been proven. So I think she goes too far at the end of that, but I also do think that, look, I mean, again, we tried to have some fun with it, but although in a very darkly humorous way, because it's the circumstances around it are so tragic. But his comments the other day in Maui, trying to be relatable and saying, I understand, how traumatizing it can be when you have a fire, and he goes into the thing, he's mumbling about the time lightning struck the pond where he has a house and he almost lost his Corvette and that whole thing. And it's so cringe. And, I know that, and look, and it's not to say he doesn't have good moments. The last State of the Union address he had to give, he seemed pretty fired up, and I don't know how that happens. I don't know if they shoot him up with vitamin B before he goes out there. I don't know, but other times he just seems so tired and just it's not good. It does not instill confidence. And some people go further and they talk about dementia and things like that. I don't agree with that. But cognitive decline, and people get it. People conflate the two. Cognitive decline is not the same as cognitive decline is just something that naturally happens. That's not necessarily dementia. I don't think there's any, but I'm not qualified to make any sort of a diagnosis, obviously. And by the way, even a doctor isn't qualified to do that unless they actually get to examine him. So we should be careful with that. But so I would not leap to that conclusion as far as dementia or anything like that, certainly. But cognitive decline? Yeah, I think so. We don't have time for the whole clip. I got to get to a song, but hello to Hans Smith, who joins us in the Facebook live chat. Hello, Hans. All right, here's what we're going to do. We are getting close to the top of the hour, so we're going to show some love to our amazing sponsors. And by the way, Peter, if you're still listening, congratulations again on the Diz Cafe sponsorship. That is amazing. Diz's Cafe. I think it's actually Diz's Cafe is how you say it. Very cool place. And I was actually in there for the first time. It was a few months ago now, I guess, where Peter did was doing the Celebrity Chef event, or Celebrity, was it not Celebrity Chef, but Celebrity Restaurateur, I think it was what it was called, where he got to pick the menu. And it was a Friday, so I couldn't stay too long because it was between shows, because I do this show and then I come back for Retro Spectrum Radio. But I went down to just say hello, and quite a place. Diz's Cafe is a very, very cool place, and I'm excited that they're coming on to the station as a sponsor, and of course, a sponsor of the morning show. I think that's very cool. And yeah, cool place. Good things happening around here, that's for sure. But here's what we're going to do. So we're going to show some love to our amazing sponsors, and then we're going to play a track. We're going to play the song Reach by the band EverFelt. And then by the time the song's over, they will be joining us via Skype. And like I said, really looking forward to talking with these guys. So plenty more to come. Don't go away. Come on down to the Hop Knot at 1000 Elm Street, Manchester's premier craft beer and gourmet pretzel bar. Tell us more, Trudy.
We make our dough fresh every day. We make a variety of styles of pretzels and serve craft beer, cocktails, and a few bottles of wine. We do the traditional pretzel, and we have multiple flavors for that. We also do stuffed pretzels, pretzel sandwiches, free dessert pretzels, and pretzel knots.
The Hop Knot in the Brady Sullivan Plaza at 1000 Elm Street.
Bring your kitchen to life with Queen City Cabinetry, located at 87 Elm Street in the historic Sunbeam Mall in Manchester. Open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. and Saturdays, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. They can be reached at 603-222-2007 or on the web at queencitycabinetrynh.com. Come see the possibilities. Queen City Cabinetry, another proud sponsor of WMNH.
This hour on WMNH is sponsored by CGI Business Solutions, located at 5 Dartmouth Drive in Auburn. They serve all your business needs, including employee benefits planning, corporate design and business administration, investments and wealth management, and customized business insurance solutions. Their phone number is 866-841-4600 or on the web at cgibusinesssolutions.com.
Clemento's Pizzeria, family friendly, awesome for a date night. Clemento's Pizzeria.
For delivery, call 603-782-8450.
Clemento's Pizzeria, the best pizza in town.
1875 South Willow Street in Manchester, New Hampshire.
Best cocktails around.
Come in as friends and leave as family.
WMNH, rip the knob off.
Yeah, that's good stuff. That is Reach. The band is EverFelt. And we've got Adam on Skype with us, I think. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me good?
Awesome. Yes. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. How do you say your last name? Is it Steglich?
Exactly.
Oh,
that's perfect.
Wonderful, wonderful. So we have Adam Steglich here from the band EverFelt. And is it just you? You all alone?
Yeah, it's just me. I'm here at work.
Oh, I gotcha. I gotcha. I became an instant fan when I heard these tracks. Really good stuff. You got a nice big sound. You know, I think it's really cool. I like it a lot.
Thank you very much for saying that. That means a lot to us.
And I was surprised. You guys haven't been around for that long, right? It's been about a year, according to your bio.
That's right. August 14th, this past August 14th was our 1 year together.
Wow, congratulations.
Thanks. Yeah, we are, I'll be honest, from Jump Street, from day, we've all been playing music for a while, a long time. Even Jacob, even though he's 23, our rhythm guitarist, he's still been playing since he was like 7. So
yeah,
15 years or more for each of us, but since the first of the melding of all of us coming together, even before Jason was a part, before we found our bass player, which he's awesome, but before that happened, our first couple of practices were, the core of this album. Like we were able, it just happened. And, we allow the music, we become, instead of making the music ours, we are the music's. So we just try to become the best channel for what all of us are influenced by and what we love. So
yeah. So it sounds like it comes easily then.
It does. I mean, we do put the work in, we're every week, we're hard at in the studio, but it does. As far as like the creation of the songs, like we're actually up to like 20 originals.
Oh wow.
But we're whittling. We keep Corey and Jacob keep coming to the table with new music, and that's awesome. So, so we try to make at least leave about 2 or 3 hours, close to 2 hours working on new material, plus working on our album finishing it. But really, what's happened is we've just allowed to not let any one of us get in the way to dictate what comes next. And this album, most of the songs and the themes of the content,
Mm-hmm.
all is philosophically driven, all has a purpose. But at the same time, like when we were writing the music and I would just freestyle vocals, we would record everything we did. So I would take it home and listen to it. And most of the themes or what the driving philosophy behind each song is came out during the freestyle process. So it's really just been letting it happen to us in a way.
No, that's great. I mean, when you can be in a situation where you're working with other musicians, where it just kind of where it gels and it just kind of flows very naturally. When it's I mean, I've been in bands, and I've been in bands where it comes easy, and some bands where it's kind of a chore. And when it's kind of a chore, it's then you start to wonder if you're in the right band. You know what I mean? So
that's true.
Yeah. So
we've been blessed with that opportunity. Coming into the Jacob Crawford, our rhythm guitarist, I was in a former band with him called Lomez back in 2019. And then he was in a band with our drummer before that. And so us three have been connected. But Corey, our lead guitarist, when I met him, when I got reconnected with Stone, our drummer, Jacob gave it away, Into the Fire, The Long Road, but the Reach, what you just played, Corey, was creating that at home, brought it one day. We're sitting in we got like a little conference room next to the studio.
Yeah.
And he's sitting there and he's playing on the acoustic to me, just playing the different parts to me. And as he's doing it, I'm coming, and I just felt the concept of Reach, the desperation of all of us. We all have that feeling. We've all experienced that,
Mm-hmm.
and we talked about it, and literally we went right to the next room, and it just happened. And it was like, wow, we obviously took the time to, build it and structure it, but the core of each song, I mean, I get chills just talking about it. It really seems like this is the way it's supposed to happen. And it's really, you're right. It's a true blessing to have the opportunity to work with musicians who are willing to just adapt and become that blank page or that channel instead of trying to, sometimes we get in our own way,
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. You mentioned the album, and now is the album already out and available, or is that coming soon, or what's the status
coming
there?
Soon. So we've been saying, on a few other interviews I've done, at first it was July, and then it was August, and now we're going into September. So We are halfway done with the album as far as like mastering, mixing. So we're finishing the last half of the album, the last 5 songs on it. We've got 4 done. We're doing 2 9-song albums. The first album's called Ascension. We don't know much about the second album yet, except we have some songs for it. But yeah, so we are hoping to have it done before the end of this year. But we haven't officially released the album. We do have some. As you know, I sent you those tracks. We do have some that, you know, everything's commercially licensed and all that, but we haven't officially. We released some stuff on DistroKid to give people a taste of what we're doing. We've done some live in the studio. And if you look at our Facebook or our YouTube, we every week try to post live content from where we're working on new songs or playing our set.
Yeah, that's really cool that you do that. I like that.
Thanks, man.
What goes into the decision to record full albums? Because obviously we live in an era where you've got a lot of different options in terms of how you do it. You know, the old template of, you know, make an album, make a full album, then go on tour or make another album. And, you know, that's given way to now there's as many ways as people are inventive in terms of how you approach it. You know, some artists just release a lot of singles, and then when they have enough singles, they put them into an album. Or is there a particular
in a sense, that's kind of what we're doing. In a sense, because we've released The Lie, Gave It Away, Reach, you know, as far as like sending them out to radios and different places. So in a sense, and they're on DistroKid, they're on Pandora, they're on all the streaming platforms. So in a sense, we kind of have done it that way, but we are also already culminated knowing that the first album, these 9 songs are going to be the album Ascension. So it's just that work of art that you know, just so we can have one central place where you can go and hear the Ascension album, because we have. You know, we already have like the other album songs ready. We just haven't, you know, finished whittling them down to what they're going to become. But some of them we have. But yeah, you're right. I mean, that is the truth on that, and that's why whenever I talk about when it's going to be released and all of that, we've already officially released some music. So those songs are going to be part of that album, and we're doing everything DIY, you know, and still learning, to be honest.
And where do you record? Do you record in that studio that we see in the YouTube videos? Or?
Yes, sir.
Oh wow! So you're doing that all yourselves too?
Yes.
Oh, excellent, excellent. Is it difficult to? I mean, obviously the way that the songs come to the band is that process is sounds like it's pretty organic. But what about recording? Is it difficult to get the sound that you want recording the way that you're doing it, or does that part also come easy?
Sometimes it is, because, you know, it's a small room there. So one thing we've done recently, which is what you hear with Gave It Away and the tracks I sent you. One thing we've done is I've done except for Gave It Away, that's a live take, mastered and mixed. Okay. But The Lie and Reach, I actually got in the booth on the 7B microphone outside of the music, you know. But as far as like recording the music live, we really wanted to capture the live energy of the songs. Yeah. You know, so what we've done is we've actually set me up for that purpose. We've set me up in the other room with different speakers, so they can hear me on the PA and there, and lowered a little bit, and I can really hear me from the other room. So I'll be on that Gave It Away video, you'll see where I'll come from the other room into their back and forth. Yeah. So that's us actually recording the master cuts, so that my vocals, so that we can have the music set to the level we need to have it set for the recording, and I can still be in the other room doing the vocals and hearing what I'm doing, so I don't have to, you know, push my vocals at all. So that, and then also that's how we get the music right, to make sure we get it right, because, you know, they follow a lot of what I do and I follow them, so we want to keep that organic. So then I'll go and get in the booth. But on Gave It Away, we literally, that take was so good, I didn't have to get in the booth on that one.
Oh wow, yeah. I actually I opened the show today with that one. That's awesome. Yeah, that's a great track, and we'll, you know, and then I wanted to play Reach, and then at the end of our conversation, I'm going to play The Lie. That's a awesome, great track too. Yeah. No, I really like your sound. It's big. It's kind of my first thought was when I heard it, it's got a little bit of a doom metal kind of vibe to it, but I can hear the other. Well, actually, somebody in the chat room was asking. In fact, Eon Venom 4 was asking about influences. Can you tell me about some of the influences?
Yeah, definitely. So interesting that you said that about the doom metal, because Nicole Bryce from Mixed Alternative Magazine, she wrote a phenomenal article on us, and she said the same thing, or like Southern sludge rock. I really like that, you know, and
Yeah.
I love what she said. She said, actually, I'll tell you exactly. To give you a really good, but I'm also going to tell you some influences. But I had to put this on my clipboard because as many times as I've tried to describe our music, she did a way better job than me.
Yeah.
She said, drawing inspiration from many genres and artists, EverFelt's music is characterized by its heavy guitars, emotional and powerful vocals, and introspective lyrics. With guitar solos emanating like straight southern sludge rock, the sound coming from these talented musicians is sure to resonate with many. One might even say they have created the perfect soundtrack for the apocalypse, with hints of blues, metal, post-punk, goth, and psychedelia. So
yeah,
I love that description. Some of my influences as a vocalist and a writer is definitely, you know, Chris Cornell, Lane Staley, Scott Weiland, Maynard, Jonathan Davis, Ozzy, you know, Jim Morrison, CCR, John Fogerty. I named a lot of those just without their bands because they're in multiple bands. But
yeah,
as a vocalist, those are some of my greatest influence. Now, lead guitarist Corey is more influenced by David Gilmour, Stevie Ray, Slash, Jacob too on that take. And I know that Stone, our drummer, he loves Motorhead, Lemmy. I personally, you know, think that we've really and Jason, our bass player, he's more of a 90s baby, which I am too. I'm huge on, you know, STP, Alice in Chains. The whole 90s grunge movement's important to us.
Yeah.
Important to all of us for sure. But when I try to put my finger on what we bring, it's like a classic rock sound with a modern take almost. We almost have like a. But then you have songs like Reach and Gave It Away, which really, to me, have like a Korn and STP vibe.
Yeah.
Both of, you know, I really like the vocals I do on Reach really reminds me of almost sometimes Volbeat a little bit too. Like,
yeah. Oh.
There's somebody she said that we really remind her of, but I can't remember.
We lost you for about.
Go ahead, brother.
We lost you for about 7 or 8 seconds there. You mentioned Volbeat, and then you kind of dropped out there. I didn't hear what you said after that.
Oh no, I was just trying to think of. There was a band that she had brought up when we were on the girl out of Louisiana.
Oh, okay.
I can't remember what she said. I had never heard of them, but when I went and listened to them after she said it, and I was like, oh, that makes.
Oh, okay.
Sense.
Gotcha.
But really, I think we sound like EverFelt, you know.
Yeah. Well, and I think there's something timeless about this genre anyway. You know, obviously you can hear a lot of influences from the past, but I think it also sounds, you know, again, I think when you've got a big sound, there's something just timeless about it, partly because not everyone can pull that off. So it doesn't, so you can do something that doesn't sound like something, like there's not another band currently that I think you guys sound like. So,
wow.
so you're kind of filling that space, which is really cool. Because I think the thing, especially like a great example at the end of Reach, the way the sustain on the guitar and the way it ends with that and that long part with the sustain and just a little bit of feedback, you know, that's just so cool. And I think that there's something about that that's just sort of timeless, partly because you don't hear it all the time. So when you do hear something like that, it sounds fresh, you know?
Wow, man, that means a lot to us, man. I'm pretty sure the guys are listening in right now. So
oh, good.
They're probably smiling as big as I am. That really means a lot to us, brother.
That's cool. I'm glad. Now, where are you guys from?
Southern Illinois. We're located in Johnston City, Illinois. About 5 hours from Chicago and about 2.5 hours from St. Louis, Missouri.
Okay. Yeah, I spent the summers growing up in Illinois.
Wow.
Yeah, well, my mother is from the Chicago area originally. So when I was a kid and my parents split up, my mom moved back to Illinois. And so I would go and spend the summers out there with her. So, yeah, it's but you're not, I assume you're not from Illinois originally, are you? You don't.
No, I'm not. No. Originally, I was born in Clearwater, Florida.
Okay.
But I lived all over the eastern United States growing up. You know, I you know, had a single mother and every type of abuse you could imagine, and the whole most dysfunctional childhood ever. Like when I was 11, was put in an orphanage. So
wow,
it was kind of crazy. But I lived in like 9 different states before I was 11. So
wow,
I say the eastern United States seaboard.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. But you know, all of us are from different places too. Like, I know Stone is from Illinois. I think that so is Corey. Jacob, I can't remember. I wish they were here. I can't remember. I know the two of us, the other two, there's two of us that also aren't from here. But it's crazy. What brought me to the Illinois area 6 years ago, I met my wife, Christina. I met her online 6 years ago. I was living in Evansville, Indiana. And that brought me to this area. And, the name EverFelt, the band EverFelt, the reason that it's called that, I had my best friend, Charles Lingerfelt. We had a project called Angerfelt right before he passed away from cancer in 2021.
Oh, wow.
And so I changed the name to EverFelt because I wanted him to be forever felt through the music. And then it became about all of us as a band wanting everyone to forever feel our music in their hearts and their minds, and hopefully it's something that it gets stuck in your head. We want you to never forget.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's really cool, and I'm sorry to hear about your friend.
Thank you, man.
That's horrible. But did you play music with him for a long time in the other band?
Yeah, on and off. That project particular, Angerfelt, we wrote that album and did that project, and then we went, he had leukemia. He didn't tell me he had cancer. And then he told me we had shows booked down in Miami with our new album, and we were going to go down there, and none of that was true. We did end up going down there and booking shows though. But he just wanted to play music with me out there on tour one last time. And then when we got back, I took him straight to the hospital. When we got back, he was telling me that it was something that he knew what it was, but he was telling me he didn't know.
Oh.
Long story short, a month later, he passed away. And
oh, wow.
And I have to say, when that all happened, but we played music together from the time I was 19. My first album called Clinch my first original album was with Charlie when I was 19, and he was like 25. He had just came from Antioch, California, played a 7-string. He's a real badass.
Wow.
And the song River actually was a song that came from Angerfelt. That's the only song I brought over to this with the new guys and everything. But yeah, thank you for asking about him, man, and thank you for your condolences. That's awesome.
Yeah. Is any of that music from Angerfelt? Is any of that online somewhere?
The song River is.
Yeah.
The song River is about coming back to the source. Now that is a song. Now you can find. We do have a couple of songs that are still up on Instagram with the Angerfelt. They were really good. It's actually live video from where we played our show together in Miami.
Oh, wow.
I can even send it to you if you want to check it out.
Yeah.
It's really good. We got
curious.
A couple of songs on there. One called Heaven's Side, another one called Here I Am that we did. And yeah, they're really good videos. But yeah, I would love to. I would make some more of the music because I still have that music, I would love to bring it, but really I can't get a song in edgewise. Corey, I'll tell you what, man, it's a true blessing to have so much music to work with. Every single practice is like, it's the reason I sleep good at night.
Yeah. No, that's great. That's great. So the album now, the album that you're working on now, do you have any kind of I know we talked about it. I can't remember. You said it kept getting pushed off, but I can't remember. Do you have a current ETA on when that might be out, or is it kind of up in the air?
It's a little up in the air because we've got another show coming up, and then we got a festival, and then we got October and November open right now. But we are looking to try to book maybe 1 or 2 more shows before the end of the year.
Yeah.
So now I'm just saying we'll have it done before the end of the year because that'll give us a little room to work with it. And we've only got 5 songs left to do, but I don't want to, put any. There's really no pressure. I mean, like you said, not many people are releasing whole albums now anyway.
Yeah.
So we're kind of taking our time, making sure we get it right.
By the way, what's the music scene like in your area? Are there a lot of places to play? Are there a lot of bands around there?
There's a few bands, and there's some places to play, but for our hard rock sound, we booked a festival, we booked a couple of venues, but around here it's really a lot of rockabilly and punk music. So we're kind of the new guys on the block, so we're booking shows around here, but really we're looking to book festivals and fairs and anywhere where there's a big stage. There's 5 of us. We bring our own production, literally everything.
Yeah.
We have like we actually bring too much. I think we have our own RV trailer, the whole deal. So if anyone is looking to book a live performance, especially in the Midwest area, really, we really want to play our music. So as long as our gas covered and we got a place to park our RV, we're down.
Yeah. Excellent, excellent. Adam, what do you want to make sure people know about how to find you online? I mean, you do have a website, of course. I'm on it right now, everfelt.net.
Yep.
Anything else you want us to know about social media and where people should go to keep up with what you're doing?
So the easiest way to make sure you're hearing our latest videos or watching our latest videos is Facebook and YouTube. Instagram is going to have more of our artistic type videos on there mostly, but all of our social media sites, all of our links are on everfelt.net. Everything you need to know about EverFelt, from our merchandise to our shows to our links to everything, is going to be on everfelt.net.
Yeah, and it's a nice website. I'm a website nerd, so I'm always evaluating websites. And yeah, it's a nice site. Do you do that yourself too, or?
Yes, sir. Yes, I created that myself.
Oh, well done, well done. Yeah, I like it.
Thank you.
I like it. Very cool. So in a moment, Adam, I'm gonna go ahead and play this track, "The Lie." Anything? This sounds like just from the title, it sounds like there might be a story behind us. Anything we should know about this before I play it?
Yeah, so this song is, as you'll know in the very beginning, as you'll hear in the very beginning, it's something you probably heard somewhere before. This song's about the lies that the people in power, the global elite, telling all of us in society, the divisions of the Republican and the Democrat, basically all of the lies that are told to us on a daily basis to keep us in the boxes and the cages that they create for us. So it's really about that.
Excellent, excellent. Well, it's the right show for it. We talk about that kind of stuff here, so very
Awesome.
good. Very good.
I was a little hesitant. I was like,
oh, no.
I don't want to say too much, but yeah.
No, you don't have to worry about that around here. Trust me.
Okay, awesome. Man, you've been awesome, brother.
Oh, thank you. It's been wonderful to talk with you. Adam Steglich from the band EverFelt. We'll let you scoot, and then I'm going to play this song. But thank you so much for joining us today. This has been wonderful, and I've become a fast fan, so I really appreciate you being with us today.
Thank you so much, brother. And I'm a fan of 95.3 as well.
Oh, wonderful. Great to hear that. All right, Adam, thank you so much. And I'm sure we'll talk again in the future.
Most definitely. Remember, we'll come and play a show at a city near you.
Very good. All right, Adam, thanks, man. Take care.
Thank you, brother.
All right,
bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right, wonderful. That was Adam from the band EverFelt. And as promised, I'm going to play this track. Another great song from these guys. And then after the song is over, of course, we'll come back with our final segment on today's program. But check this out. This is called "The Lie," and the band is EverFelt. on down to the Hop Knot at 1000 Elm Street, Manchester's premier craft beer and gourmet pretzel bar. Tell us more, Trudy.
We make our dough fresh every day. We make a variety of styles of pretzels and serve craft beer, cocktails, and a few bottles of wine. We do the traditional pretzel, and we have multiple flavors for that. We also do stuffed pretzels, pretzel sandwiches, free dessert pretzels, and pretzel knots.
The Hop Knot in the Brady Sullivan Plaza at 1000 Elm Street.
Bring your kitchen to life with Queen City Cabinetry, located at 87 Elm Street in the historic Sunbeam Mall in Manchester. Open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. and Saturdays, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. They can be reached at 603-222-2007 or on the web at queencitycabinetrynh.com. Come see the possibilities. Queen City Cabinetry, another proud sponsor of WMNH.
Clemento's Pizzeria, family friendly, awesome for a date night. Clemento's Pizzeria.
For delivery, call 603-782-8450.
Clemento's Pizzeria, the best pizza in town.
1875 South Willow Street in Manchester, New Hampshire.
Best cocktails around.
Come in as friends and leave as family.
This hour on WMNH is sponsored by CGI Business Solutions, located at 5 Dartmouth Drive in Auburn. They serve all your business needs, including employee benefits planning, corporate design and business administration, investments and wealth management, and customized business insurance solutions. Their phone number is 866-841-4600 or on the web at cgibusinesssolutions.com.
WMNH, rip the knob off.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Matt Connarton Unleashed, and we are live from the studios of WMNH 95.3 FM in glorious downtown Manchester, New Hampshire. Also on Comcast Channel 6 if you are in Manchester. And hello to all of our online listeners across the nation and around the globe. You can go to my website, mattconnerton.com, for all of your live streaming options, social media links, contact info, show archives, etc., etc. Today is Thursday, August 31, 2023, as we cruise into our final segment today on the program. And thank you again to Adam Steglich from the band EverFelt for Skyping in with us for a bit. If you missed it, of course, it'll be in the archive of the show. It'll be posted shortly after we wrap up today. But I really enjoyed talking with him, and I love the band. Love their sound. Really, really good stuff. EverFelt. And we have a call. We'll we'll grab this. Hi, welcome to Matt Connarton Unleashed. Who's this?
Hey, it's Isaac Banks.
Isaac
The
Banks.
real Isaac Banks now. I'm on another Facebook now. So that's why that's me and my friend Addie Sellers on that photo.
And you are from Greensboro, North Carolina, if I'm not mistaken.
That's correct.
Yes, yes. Now, why does JFed or Jason Federson in the chat room? Why does he think that you've been hacked?
Well, I wasn't hacked. I didn't know because I wasn't hacked at all because I didn't know what my other email. I didn't know my password was on the other email address.
Yes, yes. Okay. Well, that's a big relief.
Yeah, because it's true. So I'm staying on my Rockenberry65 at yahoo.com on the Facebook for now.
Yes. Well, I think that's wise. And by the way, in the past, you've posted about your brother Mike Banks. How are the two of you getting along?
Well, we're cool now, because he's just trying to, just trying to make things right for him.
Right. I saw something in there one day about he had put the remote control for the television in a strange place or something. It sounded like pandemonium.
Yeah, it basically is, and it's true because right now I am just feel that we're good now. We're cool. He going to the bathroom so fast so he get to work from his job. He works at Amazon.
Oh, he works at Amazon.
Yeah, over far away from Winston, North Carolina.
Ah, yes, Amazon in Winston, North Carolina. That's how long of a commute is that?
Well, for I don't know for sure. For the first time ever, he works there ever since he left Lowe's Foods.
I understand.
Because he quit that job at Lowe's Foods.
Right. Lowe's Foods. Yes. Why did he quit?
Because he wanted, find a decent job. Because I told my brother that he needed a part-time job. So right now, my mom is finding me a part-time job. That's why she called a community person who can help me find me a part-time job.
Yes.
My other job, working at Liberty Hill at Seafood Restaurant at Carswell Avenue, it was out of business.
I see.
Before 2020 came, before the COVID came.
Oh, I understand. But your brother likes working at Amazon. I've heard Jeff Bezos is a difficult boss to work for.
Yeah, but he's doing his best trying to get his paycheck.
Yes. Well, that's important.
Anyway, but right now I'm going back to the Sunshine Club tomorrow evening for me to go to.
Will you be doing karaoke?
Well, well, actually, not karaoke. We're having a cookout.
Oh, very good.
Yeah, at St. Pius X Catholic Church in Greensboro, North Carolina.
I think I've seen it. I've seen St. Pius Church mentioned in the Facebook Live chat.
I beg your pardon. I'm sorry.
I think I've seen St. Pius Church mentioned in the chat room before. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So right now I am doing another video coming up soon. I might do another song for the video I'm going to make myself. For the weekend.
Oh, good. Yes,
yeah,
excellent.
So I might have to send it to you when I email you on your chat message.
Yes, please do. We do like to feature original music on the show. Absolutely.
All right, great. And keep up with your show, and I'll talk to you another time.
All right, Isaac Banks, thank you so much.
You too. Peace out.
All right, you too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, that was Isaac Banks from Greensboro, North Carolina. Now, J-Fed in the chat room, he's always trying to make trouble with our friends in Greensboro. He says, I think this is Mike Banks, not Isaac Banks. Now, that would be, can you believe that? I can't believe that brothers would try to make trouble for each other, like one calls the show pretending to be his brother. That would just be that would be pandemonium. That would be anarchy. That would be like Cain versus Abel type stuff. A biblical reference because, of course, Isaac will be performing, he's going to a cookout at St. Pius Church in Greensboro, North Carolina. Melanie La Liberty is asking if Mike Pelopita from Queen City Cabinetry is going to show up tomorrow night. He sure is absent a lot, she says. I think he only missed 1 week, in fairness. But of course, before, there was a time when he was absent for several months when he first joined the show and then wasn't able to be there. No, but I'm sure we'll be seeing him. I hope so. I always enjoy getting to hang out with Mike from Queen City Cabinetry on Friday nights for Retro Spectrum Radio with Paulie C every Friday night from 8 to 11 p.m. right here at WMNH. I should also mention, too, while we're mentioning things, don't forget tonight is trivia night at the Hop Knot. And it is strongly recommended that you call ahead to observe a spot if you're going to do trivia, because it is a very popular feature at the Hop Knot. It begins at 7 p.m., hosted by the great Broderick Lang. Let's see here. Trying to get back to the post. Kenny had posted something earlier. Okay, here we go. Tonight, trivia at the Hop Knot is on per usual. Call ahead if you would like to reserve a table. 603-232-3731. 603-232-3731. Some of this week's categories include back to school, fictional brands, Jamaica, lakes, sex and science fiction, Wisconsin, double trouble, tomato season, and more. And that will begin at 7 p.m. So again, just make sure that you call ahead to reserve your spot. Let's see. Oh, wow. It's already almost quarter of. I just saw something that I had not planned on talking about, but this really jumped out at me here. Governor of Florida, you might have heard of him, Ron DeSantis, or as Trump likes to call him, Ron DeSanctimonious, or Ron DeSanctis, or my personal favorite, Tiny D. Well, apparently, there's a new poll where DeSantis actually beats Trump in his quest for the Republican nomination. It says here, this is from Mediaite, DeSantis beats Trump in Young Republicans' 2024 straw poll that immediately went nuclear online. Oh, my goodness. It says here, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis beat Republican frontrunner Donald Trump in a recent straw poll conducted by Young Republicans. That's a song, isn't it, David Bowie? They were the Young Republicans, resulting in chaotic reactions from all over right-wing social media. The Young Republicans organization, and that's the official name of the organization, the Young Republicans, released the results of a straw poll taken from various members of their organization showing DeSantis narrowly beating the former president in the GOP primary. Most national average polls, according to Real Clear Politics, shows Trump beating DeSantis by a double-digit lead, including in key early voting states such as New Hampshire and Iowa. And by the way, you know, if you're a regular listener, you already know this, but I say all along, I refer to Trump as the presumptive nominee, because I'm absolutely certain he will be the Republican nominee. All these criminal indictments, they certainly harm him as a general election candidate, but they also virtually assure that he definitely will be the Republican nominee. It says here, okay, the organization tweeted this out this afternoon. This is breaking news. This is what they tweeted. Straw poll results are in YRs, you know, Young Republicans. Twitter only gives you so many characters, 240. So YRs across the country participated in a straw poll at YRNC Dallas. I assume that's Young Republicans National Convention. And it's clear that YRs are divided between two contenders. Ron DeSantis comes in with 36.6% of the support, closely followed by Donald Trump at 35.4%, the organization tweeted. Now, that's, I mean, when you account for a margin of error, I would say that is a statistical tie. But if that's any indication, it might be the younger Republicans would like perhaps a younger nominee. I mean, Trump isn't as old as Biden, but he's a few years, he's only a few years shy. What is Trump, 77, I think? Ron DeSantis is, you know, what is he, 45, 46? The negative backlash to the tweet from MAGA activists was quick, as Trump supporters, such as Laura Loomer, as a Trump supporter, such as Laura Loomer, I don't know why, I always stumble on her name, tweeted this. This is Laura Loomer. Future uniparty shills coming out strong for a failed candidate who was just rejected by his own pack today for being too much of a rookie. Laura Loomer taking this a little seriously, apparently. Oh, there's a graphic here. It's got. Okay, here's. Let's go through the numbers again. This is from the Young Republicans straw poll. So DeSantis 36.6, Trump 35.4, Vivek Ramaswamy 9.1. See, if the Young Republicans were going to go for a young Republican, they would go for Vivek. What is he, 38? But he got 9.1. Nikki Haley, 7.5. Tim Scott, 5.5. Someone else, 6%. Yeah, Laura Loomer, very upset. Gavin Mario Wax, at Gavin Wax. I don't know who this person is, but I do think Wax is kind of a fun last name. I was thinking about changing my name to Matt Wax. It does have, it's pretty good, huh? Matt Wax Unleashed. Ooh, I do like the sound of that. But the only thing that stands between myself and doing that is, for one thing, I'm kind of used to my name as it is. And the other thing is there's probably paperwork involved in changing your name. I don't have time for that. I ain't got time for that. Gavin Wax tweeted this: no statement on the politicized arrest of President Trump, but they had time to publish a pro-DeSantis straw poll with no sample size. Oh, Mr. Wax is taking this very seriously. He's very upset. Ooh, Roger Stone is very angry. I can't even read what he tweeted. It's profane. This is, so there's an organization called Washington, D.C. Young Republicans, which apparently is separate from the Young Republicans. Washington, D.C. Young Republicans tweeted out, this proves how out of touch the entire YRNF is. What is YRNF? Young Republicans National Frontier? I don't know. We proudly endorse Donald J. Trump for president. Rhinos will weep. Yeah, see, that's the thing. They're saying if you don't support Trump, you're a rhino. But that's why I always say the Republican Party, it's become such a cult of personality around Donald Trump. You could be, I would argue that Ron DeSantis is actually to the right of Donald Trump. He's always trying to out-conservative Trump. But if you support DeSantis, you're a rhino. Not because you don't support Republican policies, because you support somebody other than Trump. Let's see. The rest of these, are any of these worth reading? I don't know if the ones I even already read were, some are, there's some supportive tweets too, but I don't think they're really worth reading. Anyway, but that's the Young Republicans straw poll. And it, obviously it doesn't mean much, but let's see. Oh, I'll tell you what, we'll leave you with just one other quick thing because we are almost out of time. But earlier in the show, I was trying to put a button on some things that we discussed earlier in the week, or just even expand on them a little bit. And one thing that Jenny and I did talk about too on Monday was when artists, this was in the discussion about Oliver, what's his name now? The Richmond, north of Richmond guy. I can't remember, spacing on his last name. Oliver Anthony. Sorry, it took me a second. When we were talking about that, we were also talking about the history of, because Oliver Anthony was upset about his song being used at the debate the other night. And we briefly touched on, there's a long history of songs being used for political purposes where the artist objects to the song being used in that way. And in some instances, we'll even get a cease and desist letter sent to the individual using the song, or the campaign of the person using the song. And the latest example of this, Vivek Ramaswamy. This is from Mediaite. Vivek drops Eminem lyric to throw shade at Shady after lawyers beef over rapping candidate. If you didn't see it, it's on YouTube. You can see it. It might be cringe. Depends on your point of view. During the Iowa State Fair, where the candidates go and try to pretend like they're regular, normal humans by interacting with actual, regular, normal humans. Vivek actually rapped on stage. Apparently he rapped in college, and he says there's videos of him somewhere rapping. But there is video of him rapping recently. The song "Lose Yourself" by Eminem. He broke into a rap, and it's something. But it says here, this is from Mediaite, Republican presidential candidate Vivek Ramaswamy dropped an Eminem lyric on the rapper in response to a legal move to prevent him from using the rapper's music on the campaign trail. Ramaswamy has made a karaoke-style performance of Eminem raps, as he did when he broke into a live rendition of the hit "Lose Yourself" at the Iowa State Fair, a well-known part of his campaign persona. But Eminem licensor BMI let Ramaswamy know that they don't stan his performances by sending a cease and desist letter on Monday that warned they would, quote, consider any performance of the Eminem works by Vivek 2024 campaign from this date forward to be a material breach of the agreement for which BMI reserves all rights and remedies with respect thereto, unquote. That did sound very lawyerly. On Tuesday's edition of MSNBC's Andrea Mitchell Reports, host Andrea Mitchell asked about the beef, and Ramaswamy said he would abide by the rapper's wishes, but Ramaswamy used an Eminem lyric to suggest the rapper was not being true to himself by opposing the use of his music and posing himself as an early Eminem-style renegade whom Shady may someday come to agree with. So Andrea Mitchell said, well, actually, is there a clip here? Oh, I'll play the audio of it here. It's only, it's brief. It's under a minute. Oh. Sorry, it's my first day. Okay, here we go. I'll play the audio
about
of it.
Eminem. They've sent.
Oh, now there's an echo. Hang on. Sorry, it's my first day. Okay, it's still doing it. You're hearing my show through. Oh. All right. One more time. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
Ask you finally about Eminem. They've sent you a cease and desist through the music licensing company to stop using "Lose Yourself" on the trail. Have you agreed to move on?
Yeah, look, I think that I'll respect his wishes, but I would just say, will the real Slim Shady please stand up? Eminem in his rise used to be a guy who actually stood up to the establishment and said the things that the establishment didn't want him to say. I think the fact that my political viewpoints may differ from his, I think people change over the course of their lives. But I have hope for him that he will one day rediscover the renegade that made him great, and I'm rooting for that success in his life.
Well, Vivek Ramaswamy, thank you for your time.
All righty. Well, we'll end with that. I don't know. You know, I think, let me see if I can find the radio edit quickly. I would like to close today's show with "Lose Yourself" by Eminem in honor of the cease and desist letter. Yeah, here we go. Clean version. In honor of the cease and desist letter that was sent to Vivek Ramaswamy. Oh, Rob Dion is in the Facebook live chat. If you are listening live, by the way, on Thursday, stick around, because coming up next year on WMNH, of course, is Rob's show, Through the Stage Door. And that will be coming up. And if you miss any part of today's show, of course, this show, it will be up in just a little bit at WMNHradio.org and at my website, mattconnarton.com. And so Rob Dion is up next. And, of course, be back bright and early, 7 a.m. for the morning show with Peter White. And, yeah, we'll leave you with this. Oh, and don't forget trivia tonight at the Hop Knot. But here's a little Eminem from the 8 Mile movie, Lose Yourself, to close out today's Matt Connarton Unleashed. And I will talk at y'all a little bit later. Bye, everybody.